morning, everyone. Welcome to Damage Does D&D, our persistent campaign, Helloran Rising, episode 56. 56. So, as always, we start with a recap from one of our characters, and this week it is the turn of the lovely Celeste. So, take it away, Celeste.
Dearest Ella, the fight continues. The tieflings who summoned the first demonic creature continue to chant and bring forth a vicious-looking devil from a pool of what could only be blood. I continue to do my best to channel my energies into keeping everyone alive, whilst the others endeavour to stop the summoners completing yet another ritual. The devil, Melissa later identifies as Norzingon, a lieutenant of sorts of the dreaded Fienna Prince of Hell. Trellador, in his rage, brings forth strange magical creatures that explode and deals damage only to his friends, but none to our enemies. The first summoned demonic creature explodes at death, showering us in piercing shards. In a rare moment for myself, I succeed in attacking Norzingon, using my guiding bolt, and manage to critically wound him. Trellador, still doing his best to protect Florian, despite his attempts to drive him away, engages with Norzingon, while Gus, Miette, Melissa and Bridris bring down the summoners, Bridris being substantially wounded by one of them in the process. Norzingon rips into Trellador, causing an immense amount of damage to him that only he could endure. Florian attempts to retaliate against the devil, but I can only assume in his furor over Trellador being harmed, it had affected his aim. I immediately rush to Trellador to ensure his survival, but realise he doesn't even acknowledge that I am there, too lost in his own pain and rage. He cries out to Reorx and slices into Norzingon with a vicious counter-strike, though the fire from his smite has no effect. The devil then tears into Yorick, Trellador and myself. Fortunately for them, Yorick resists some of the fire damage he thrusts at him, and Trellador resists the piercing. I, on the other hand, am not so lucky and take a substantial wound from his lance. Ella, I have never experienced such pain before, and I hope to never again. He then proceeds to scream in a language I do not understand, and it frightens me and some of the others. Despite this, I do not yield and try my best to keep my friends alive. Florian, in a moment of brilliance, succeeds in stunning Norzingon. This helps turn the tide in our favour, giving us the opportunity to rain down a barrage of attacks on him without fear of repercussions. Another large slice from Trellador, a couple of magical attacks inflicted on him by Yorick, and several rain shots find their mark from Melissa and Miette. Florian attempts to stun the devil again, but is not so lucky on this occasion, though he does succeed in harming him with his fists. Running low on magic by this point, I try and wound Norzingon with one of my spells, but it does not land. Bridges manages a bite on him, and then Trellador comes in at the last moment, for Reorx, of course, and smashes his horns into his heads before impaling him on a stalagmite. Melissa and Miette find various vials of bloods and other fluids and summoning books on each of the tieflings, and discover that the summoning of Norzingon was to be a distraction for us, so they would have the opportunity to bring forth something worse. Melissa, whilst looking through the second, more advanced summoning tomes, suddenly freezes in place, and the blood drains instantly from her face. She has found a portrait of Vale on one of the pages, and underneath the image is the name Fienna, the Prince of Hell, as I mentioned before. Melissa seems to have had a relationship with Vale more intense than I think anyone realised. This discovery crushed her already shaken resolve about Vale. I theorise that perhaps Vale is a twin. It does not make sense to me otherwise. Fienna was looking for Vale, and why would one need to look for themselves? And she needed to use the power of the blood between Florian and his twin sister, so why would she send him away? Trellador, of course, takes the opportunity to accuse Melissa of hiding the truth from us, or even flat out lying, which I don't believe to be the case, and neither does Florian. I encourage her to re-examine the picture again more carefully, and this time she can see more subtle differences between the Vale she knew and this picture. We must therefore postulate that Fienna and Vale are in fact not the same being.
Yes, indeed, Celeste. Thank you very much. So, with the battle over and some goodies received, books, vials, I believe Yorick and Gus were storming away to an archway that
Oh,
led into a second chamber.
We've killed the monsters. Now we got to get the loot.
Let's go.
Okay, so as the pair of you rush towards the door, you see
With Bridges, of course.
with Bridges. Okay, you're just going straight in, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not stopping to look first. You're just going to go in.
No, just through.
Okay.
Not interested what's around. Just straight through.
As the pair of you go through, and Bridges sort of, as she follows you through, and you splash through another pool of some kind. Bridges flat out refuses to walk through this pool and spreads her wings and arcs over it. And you look
You
down.
scared of getting your tootsies wet, dear?
I don't want to sit in blood. That's weird.
What, blood?
Yeah, look.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the pair of you have just stormed through a pool. It's about... sorry, let me get my notes up. I do apologise. Okay, so it extends about 10 feet into this chamber. And then you can see there's a channel that goes all the way across this room. That's about 8 inches, 12 inches wide. That seems to be blood running down it and into this pool that you've just walked across.
Oh, I think we better get out of this. And sort of go inside.
All right.
Or step out onto whatever's there.
So you step out onto the rock floor and taking a look around, you can see that, well, make a quick perception check, please. You both can do this if you wish. And or religion check.
That's a way to start the evening with an natural 20.
Awesome. 12,
30.
27, I believe, and just over there.
27. Awesome. So, looking around this chamber, it seems more rough-hewn than the last one. It seems to be almost like a natural cave, except all over the walls, bringing a sort of an echo, if you like, of the chamber you found Peladas in, or the chamber you found that Peladas had been incarcerated in. There are scratchings of words all over it. But what's most striking is that directly on the wall opposite this pool and this channel is a sort of stone bier or altar of some kind with manacles. And chained and manacled on there is a body, humanoid. From where you're standing, you can see they have wounds on their head. Looks like they've been. It looks like it possibly might have been a tiefling at one point, but the horns have been cut off. The throat has also been slashed. You can see the blood pools on this altar and then drips down the side into the channel that goes into the pool that you just walked through.
Yorick, you think you better go and check it, see if it's still alive?
Right. I'll rush over and do
Right behind him.
medical stuff.
Okay. No, he's very definitely not alive. He is, you would suggest, probably at least a day or two since he was alive.
You better write this down, Yorick, in case we have to get the authorities in later. They'll want all the details.
Right, you're right. Right, where's my pad? It's a bit bloody, but that won't matter.
Okay.
And I wash my boots soon.
Yeah. They've been dead at least a day.
Do you remember when we fought that bony, clawy thing? You know, this one?
Yep.
It was underneath an altar that we went down into the secret bit, wasn't it? I bet
Right.
underneath this altar. Let's start having a look.
Okay.
And I want to look for secret entrances or catches or switches all around the altar.
Brilliant. Okay, make an investigation check. Whilst you are doing that, let's sort of pan back into the first chamber where the rest of you are. Does anybody want to do anything particularly fun or special while the dwarves are off investigating?
I'm just gonna go check on the dwarves. Anybody else coming?
Yeah, in typical fashion of recent decisions, I'll just follow the dwarves.
Okay.
And I'll head into that room as well.
Okay. So, as you all approach the doorway, you can see this pool. It's about 10 feet across. That it's just sort of, I mean, it's fairly dark in here, but it does look like the pool that's just behind you that seems to be full of a red liquid.
Does it look like it's feeding from the original pool we were in, or this channel is feeding the pool?
Ooh, make a perception check.
Ooh, that's not too bad. 17.
17. You can see, checking around, you can see smaller channels, maybe about a centimetre or two, but lots of them coming from this new pool to the pool that was in the room you're already in. So you would surmise that it is feeding from the new pool into the main pool.
Yeah. Would I have seen the writing on the wall in the body with that?
If you're going into the room, yes.
Yeah, literally, I would have
Yeah.
been
So yeah, you would
catching
see
up there, basically.
that Yorick is over investigating what looks to be a dead body. Gus is sort of searching around the altar. And the pair of them attract sort of blood red boot prints all over the room. But yes, the walls and the floor and you assume the ceiling, you can't really see, it's kind of dark. You don't
I'd
have
like
dark vision.
I don't, but I'd like a torch.
Yeah,
What I've
okay.
got.
Well, that brings into sharp relief all of these, and they're literal scratching. Somebody has got something hard and scratched words into this cave all over it.
Any distinguishable? Any what I understand? Speaking common and infernal?
There are some infernal words. Things like majesty, prince, all high, all knowing.
This doesn't look good. I smell. Some of these words are majesty and prince and all high, all knowing. I'm assuming it means to one thing, one person.
Well, considering what we fought in the previous room, I would assume so, yes.
I got a feeling this could be a summoning place. Probably one of many, which was specifically designed for her to bring her here.
So Celeste, Trellador, Yet, Melissa, you going into the room as well, or are you staying out here?
I'm staying where Melissa is at the minute.
I'll stare at Melissa like for an uncomfortably long time, then go into the room after this.
Okay. So you,
Interesting.
sorry, Yet.
I was just going to say, if there is a dry part in the next room, I'll take it.
Not really. No, the pool seems to go the width of this room, but it's only 10 feet across, so you could take a run up and jump it.
Yep.
With a fairly, I wouldn't even ask for an acrobatics check from you. Yeah, it should be very easy. Or snow, shouldn't be a problem.
Is there any distinguishing symbology that we've seen at any of the other temple sites or anything that we've seen up to this point?
Not really, no. It all seems to be words.
Right.
It appears to be the same hand. It's not multiple people doing this, it's one person. What languages do you speak, Snow?
Dwarvish, Elvish, Common.
Okay, so...
And there's Thieves' Cant as well, but...
Yeah, there is no Thieves' Cant, there is no Common. There is a form of Elvish. Seems to be very archaic and strange. You don't understand a lot of it, but again, it seems to be just words. Majesty, Prince. There is also some Dwarvish. Now, You've never seen Dwarvish written down anywhere else apart from, your time with the dwarves.
Yeah.
But this doesn't seem like anything like that. Again, it seems very old and very strange. It may be a dialect you've not come across, but it's very difficult to read. It's more runic than words at this point.
Totally, yeah.
But again, it's nothing that you've seen before. It's just these words over and over: High Prince, Dark Majesty, Queen, royalty. Lots of interesting and strange words. That, it's very strange.
I know it's etched into stone, but the hand, you said it's all written in the same hand. Is it like any other hand we've seen before, i.e. from the book or anything like that?
And have these been done carefully, or is it more sort of insane raving type scratching?
Make an insight check to insight the cave. It's very fiddy, but
Well done, I'm proud.
18.
18. This you would suspect is the product of an unhinged mind. Certainly, this is not somebody who's carefully etching something that needs to be a message to get out there. It just seems to be a feverish scratching of the walls.
So there's no kind of artistry to it. It's just mad scratching.
Mad scratching. I mean, occasionally where there's like two words you can make out, it even changes language halfway through.
Right. Okay.
So it'll start Elvish and then descend into Infernal, or that sort of thing. Yeah. Gus, what did you get for your?
It depends on whether
investigation.
Yorick's helping me.
I don't know. Are you helping Yorick?
I can do. It depends whether this was happening at the same time I was looking at the body.
Well, it was just after, because you'd had a word about the body, and then.
I'll give a hand then. Did you want advantage or should I roll?
I did, because I got a 7. And I got a 10 that
10.
time. Yeah. So that was not worth it.
Search very carefully around this, not really altar, more of a sort of stone sacrificial butcher's block, if you like.
Yeah.
And it gets a bit messy because there's, blood everywhere. But you can't find any kind of trapdoor or secret passageway or anything that would indicate that there's something below or inside this block of stone.
Can I tap on it and see if it's hollow?
Yeah,
being a dwarf with stone knowledge and stuff.
It is not hollow. It looks as though somebody carved it out of the wall.
Okay.
And it is just a sort of misshapen lump. It's no artistry in this at all. The only sort of bit that's been taken care of is the blood grooves down it and across the chamber floor.
Well, that's my idea down the drain. Wonder where they're keeping the loot then. What do you think, Yorick?
I don't know. Did they think maybe that the books were loot? Because I mean that's not really good loot, is it?
No, I mean loot's loot, but books is just books, isn't it? We just been somewhere. There's thousands of books.
Material wealth probably doesn't mean much to these things. They don't really have much use for material wealth where they're from. So there's probably not going to be much, if anything.
I'll never understand these things.
No, weird, aren't they? Anyway, so, well, what do we do now then? Oh, by the way, there's a dead tiefling on there.
Perhaps we get, I don't know. The tiefling.
Yep.
Is it somebody that we would recognise, even with the snapped off horns?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's very definitely male. It has no horns, and it has a sort of a slash to its throat where it's obviously bled out. It's not a deep cut to the throat. It's just enough to keep bleeding.
Yeah. So they've opened it wide enough to keep it bleeding and not start to heal.
Have they got any clothes on?
No.
No. Okay.
That's how you know it's very definitely male.
I'd probably walk back out into the other room and head over to Melissa.
Okay.
With the dwarves not finding anything. I'd be like, Melissa, you okay to just battle your brains for a second?
Yeah. You need what I know if you found anything.
No, just some mad ramblings etched into the stone, different languages and all that, but definitely referring to some kind of prince or queen, majesty. But just going back to what you might know about the summoning point. Look like there's a tiefling that's been dehorned and his throat was slit, and the blood is leading from that room into this pool. You might want to come and have a look just to see if you know if we stop the blood or whatever, it might weaken a connection.
I'll come through. I mean, stopping it might be worthwhile. Vienna's domain is, kind of gently place my hand over the tattoo with all the scars in it. Her domain is blood, a lot of the time. And I'll walk down and go into the other room.
Okay. So, as you are you walking through the pool of blood, or are you going to jump over it?
Melissa's a bit too rattled to do stunning acrobatics at the moment. I'm just going to walk through.
Okay. So you walk through the pool and see this room. What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, Halfling, and Infernal.
Okay, so there are Infernal, as I've said before, and there is a strange elderly form of Elvish and other languages you do not recognise.
Very strange.
And the tiefling on the stone butcher's block type steel thing with the blood channel running across the floor.
It seems a bit of a lot of blood from one body, doesn't it?
For a long time.
Does the dehorning strike me as a ritualistic thing?
Yeah. Dehorning of a tiefling is a very ritualistic thing.
And do I have any inkling as to how there's enough blood coming from this body to fuel such large pools?
Make a, I was going to say, sort of intelligence check or insight, your choice.
Do insight, because it's 1 foot higher.
Is there like a pile of 11 other dead tieflings in the corner that we've just not noticed?
Not
Like
quite.
spare batteries.
Battery 18.
18. Yeah, there's way too much blood here for it to be one tiefling. You suspect this is just the latest in a long line of tiefling sacrifices that have been used here.
This is not the first
Come
time.
across anything like this before, Melissa?
No.
And I mean that genuinely.
No, I have not. But I suspect the amount of blood here, this the only person that's undergone this.
Perhaps we can speak to the local guard and see if they have had a spate of missing persons, shall we say.
Possibly. We'd have to be careful not to incriminate ourselves.
And we'd have to be careful who we speak to. We obviously know that there's been people wandering around the city, tieflings, who know where this building is.
Is there any information that we need to get from the local guard? Can't we just send them a little anonymous note saying you should probably come check here?
It's probably a better idea, to be fair, Yark.
Yeah.
I mean, this place has been here forever, because that's, well, I barely understand that.
Either that
Archaic.
or
Yeah.
it's somebody that understands it.
Also, dwarves, you look up and see the dwarvish is ancient. This is not dwarvish you are familiar with or have seen in use ever. It's
Maybe,
really old.
maybe Celeste can read it.
Celeste, darling.
Gus, this dwarvish is nearly as old as your mum.
Oh, cheeky bugger.
Yeah.
My mum's about the same age as your mum, so you just insulted your mum, didn't you?
I'm not an expert on it, but this Elvish seems real old to me.
It's a very archaic form. I can piece some of it together,
Same.
but it's
I'll just finish bandaging myself and then I'll be through.
Okay.
Melissa, just another one. If with these summonings, I mean, it's obvious that this is pretty much for her with the Radens. Would our summoning pools like this connected? If we damage this one, disrupted it, would it make that connection weaker for the pass-through if they completed it somewhere else? It definitely can't be the only one, can it?
I'd be mighty surprised if this was the only one. Do I have any inkling if this would affect it, or if this summoning's been stopped because of us killing
What did you
the
roll on
summons?
your insight check?
18.
You don't know a huge amount about summonings, but you suspect that the amount of blood that was gathered here, you suspect that they did that until they had enough to try a summoning of some kind. We're not sure if somebody could come in and summon Fiona, say, from this amount of blood that's left here, or you suspect that it's not linked to anything else. No other sort of summoning chamber would need to be used. You suspect that summonings, because you saw them happen in the fight, you suspect that they were working here to try to pull Fiona through. You don't suspect it was linked to anything else.
I think this was a one-time thing. Summoning devils through to test it and then going properly to get her here.
But
I
it
think
could
we've
be used
stopped it
again
here.
if they came back, right?
It could be, but it's the same. That's saying any temple could really be used.
Do you think if I shatter the pool in the next room so it can't collect, that would stop it from being used?
Send blood everywhere. I'm sure. I honestly, summoning really. We never really. I never really learned about that because it wasn't something I was ever wanting to do.
Thinking,
I don't think Vale ever would have taught it to me, even if I did.
You sure you?
Sorry, Trello, go on.
That's fine.
I was just gonna say, I'm thinking logically, if we don't want to smash the pool, even if we can, who knows? But this building is obviously being looked after by minions of her.
Well,
it's being paid by someone who has access to it. What if we just make that access extremely hard? Lock all the doors, barricade, whatever we can do, stop the tunnel coming down into here. Just at least it holds them up for a little bit if we can't destroy the pool.
I think, yeah, at least making this cavern inaccessible would be wise.
I mean, it's not like we can destroy the cavern. It's obviously holding up part of the city and would cause a massive disruption. But I'd feel safer and better if we could walk away from this town knowing that
Well, Well,
We've
hold on,
got
hold
to
on,
lead.
hold on. Upstairs, they were all celebrating this big thing about breaking free of the devils and not summoning stuff and stuff. Why don't we just tell the authorities and get them to sort it out then?
It's who we can trust, I think, Gus. And there's obviously Denzians of this town what are in league with what we're going up against, and you just don't know, do you?
Or we write a note like it has already been suggested.
Anonymous tip.
We pay somebody to give it to the guards in a day's time as we are leaving.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, and just here, see. Hopefully that they can deal with it in a.
If you wanted to seal it up, as Florian suggested, I can come back tomorrow and just block the staircase with stone.
I mean, if we're trying to make sure that this is not used, perhaps we could stay in the house above, at least for the next day, to rest and keep watch. At least then we can ensure that nobody else goes down.
Definitely, and then tomorrow, Yarrick, or when we wake up, Yarrick can do what he said and block the stairway up with stone.
I can try and use. I believe that if I can summon some of the thunder magic, we can try and shatter one of the walls of the pool, so it can't be used as well.
Didn't we get in trouble using magic temple before?
I don't think this is a temple, though. This is just a room for summoning demons and princes of hell.
Well, that's what a temple is, isn't it? Where fanatics get together and, pray to gods and bring forth things.
I suppose a person's temple is wherever they consider it. Let's face it, Traldor, your temple to the Riox is the battlefield.
Riox is all around us at all time.
Yorick's temple to Riox is the forge.
We don't need a permanent. Do we, Yorick? And I wink at Yorick.
I don't know what you guys are arguing about.
But I think Celador, sorry, Mia, go on.
Oh. Cat
One
is
syllable.
leaving stream.
Cat leaving stream. Yeah, Mia's going to hop back over the pool and start heading back upstairs.
Okay. So, yeah.
You've got...
disappears out. Celeste, are you going into this room finally?
Yeah, I'll finish sort of bandaging myself up and then
Hello.
head through the doorway.
Okay. So as you head through this doorway, are you stepping into this? I mean, it's admittedly shallow, this pool, but it's like 10 feet wide. You can easily leap across it if you want to.
Yeah, I'll leap across it if I can.
So you are struck as you land the other side of this pool, and there are like bloody footprints everywhere because the dwarves have been all over this place and they just ran straight through. Melissa's footprints you can see, but what strikes you is the walls and the ceiling and the floor, even with these words in what you see as current Elvish. Do you speak Dwarvish?
I don't. I'm
don't,
Celestial, Common, Druidic, and Elvish.
There is some Celestial mixed in as well. And again, it's all to do with words of Prince and Her High Majesty and all of these weird and wonderful words that are scratched into this stone by the same hand that you recognise. This person that wrote these words, you know this person. You've seen this writing before.
Ooh.
This is the writing of your betrothed, Lork.
I won't say anything, just sort of fall to my knees and just stare at the words.
Okay, so you will see as Celeste just like literally falls to her knees on the floor, staring at the walls.
I'll walk over and crouch next to her. Is everything all right, darling?
I know this handwriting.
Hmm?
Not just the words, but I know who wrote it.
Who?
Look,
Who's that then?
You're telling me that the crazy, sadistic bastard that you came here to escape is somehow in league with Fiedna.
I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, that's who it is. Right.
How old does the etchings, the ramblings look after hearing that?
Make investigation or perception, your choice.
Yeah. I'd be interested in that as well, and having knowledge of
Yeah,
stone.
absolutely. You can use a history check with advantage.
Sorry, what did you say in investigation or
Perception.
Oh, okay. So I'll use perception because it's higher and it's a non-natural 20.
So 20. Okay. This looks. Some of it's old. Some of it's, you would suggest quite old years. Maybe not centuries, but certainly
Decades.
decades for sure. What did you roll, Yorick?
What was a
History.
check was
History with advantage.
Unless
Unless you have a more apt roll that you want to do, and give me a good reason for it.
No, I don't think I can.
No, it's going to be history. It's not stoneworking itself. It's it's scratches on stone. So
absolutely. Unfortunately, that means the high roll was a 14 for 12.
12. No, I mean the cavern itself's pretty old. It looks pretty natural as well, apart from the stone that's been cut out to provide this blood sacrifice, which looks, you would say, probably 20 years old, maybe a little bit older, maybe. But Florian, some of the scratches look, I mean, there's no weathering to be had in here. There's no weather. So you would suggest that 80, 90 years old, perhaps? Maybe.
Okay.
But some of it is very recent. Some of it is still fresh, as if done a month or two ago, perhaps. It's difficult to tell, even with a non-natural 20, because there's no natural effects wearing it down. It looks fresh. It might be days old. It might be a couple of months old.
Yeah. Celeste, you don't have to answer straight away, but just a question on my mind I want to get out. When we were in Ramara's room, she spoke to each one of us about being there. And she said it wasn't your time. What is your time? Because some of these look decades old.
I think we've established before that where I'm from is not the same time as where you are from. The words that you claim to be archaic are more commonplace to me.
Does that mean you're really, really, really old then?
Or she stepped really far forward in time.
Mm-hmm.
My head hurts.
It's okay, guys. It's fine.
I've got an idea, but I'd rather not. I say an idea, something to put in the mixing pot, but I'd rather not say it down here in a summon place.
Hold on to that thought while we watch what Miet is up to.
Oh.
So, Miet, you skip back out over the blood pool round. You're going all the way up, or you just standing in the other room. What are you doing?
I want to go all the way up to the street level house
Okay. Yeah,
and
easy
start doing
enough.
a recce for how many points of entrance there are in that place.
Okay. Make
And
a
then
quick
granted
perception check.
dice. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have my dice actually out because there was a wagging tail,
That's fair.
which would have scattered them everywhere. Because she's very fond of muting and unmuting me while she's on my lap.
She will decide when you speak.
No,
Yes.
can't have those.
Uh-oh.
Sorry,
Dice
what's the
Goblin.
check again?
Dice.
Perception
Say
check.
dice.
Hello, Dice Goblin.
People.
Hello.
And
Yeah.
ooh,
Child
something's
on
gone
screen.
big. Non-natural 20.
Okay. There's the door that you came through.
Mhm.
It looks like there used to be another door out the other side, but there is no. Martin's happy.
Sorry.
But it looks as though it's been blocked up. You can see the sort of shape of the doorway, but it's been filled in with stone and looks like cement in. So there is literally only one way in and out of this building at this level.
Okay.
So as you are contemplating that, your sending stone is warm in your pocket.
Yes, that was the other part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to get a chair. There's actually chairs in this place, or have they just like stripped the place of furniture?
It's literally stripped. There's nothing here.
Okay. I want to try and take a position that's like not immediately kind of like hiding in the shadows, watching the front door for anyone else coming in.
Right. Okay.
Since that's the only
I mean,
entrance.
it's
And while I'm standing there, sorry.
dark enough in here. It is nighttime after all. So you sort of blend yourself into the shadows and listen to the voice of Derek as she says, "Well, your quarry is not in Pinewater, Giffield, or even Dar. He is currently traversing the western edge of the Macabre Hills. I've followed him and his party for a very long way now. They act very strangely indeed, talking to invisible beings, and sometimes I swear this elf of yours has horns. There is a kind of fog that surrounds them at night, so I cannot see what they're doing. I may well have to up my fee if you wish me to dispose of this elf, if he really is an elf." And you can respond to that message if you wish.
So is this me, or did you
You.
say Snow, or
No,
me?
you.
Just checking. Yeah. So when I take a descending cube while I'm watching the door now, go. What do you mean fog?
Well, there is. At night, they seem to make camp, and I go to investigate, and there's a fog that surrounds them. Impenetrable, no matter which way I go. I can't get to them.
So not a devouring fog.
Well,
Something that seems to be conjured.
I suspect it is definitely conjured, but it hasn't actually devoured me yet.
Sorry, that was kind of overtaken by squeaking.
Yes, I suspect.
Sorry, I shall mute.
Sorry, I suspect that it is a conjured thing, but to keep them hidden. But it hasn't devoured me as of yet. I can't think of a fog that would devour anyone. Really, it seems a little weird, strange question to ask.
You can't think of the fog that devoured your one-time compatriots
Of that
and
fog? Well,
turned them undead?
was that really fog?
It's what I've been referring to it as.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some sort of creature. Interesting. I'll maybe keep my distance then, perhaps.
Very much so, unless you want to end up like them.
I do not. I haven't seen them for a while.
We did recently. We don't expect to see them again.
Yes, well, in my experience, they do tend to have an annoying habit of turning up when you least want them to.
Yes, that was the circumstances when we last saw them. Does the fee I paid so far cover enough for you to continue tracking for now?
Just about. But don't worry about it. This is possibly the most interesting job I've had for a very long time. These people are very, very odd. There's 4 of them. There's one named Ambrado. He seems to be some sort of dog's body. Does all the heavy lifting, the work. Constantly being shouted at to do this or do that or get that. And there's another one I don't have a name for yet. Its job seems to be to look after the 4th, which seems to be some sort of prisoner. A sorry-looking tiefling female they keep on a silver chain. I've not found out why they keep her yet, but you know, it's always good to have an ally on the inside.
True. Well, thank you for this information. It is very interesting.
Updates as and when I get them, obviously.
Thank you.
But,
I will respond as soon as I'm able.
You know, I understand. People are busy. Things to do, people to kill, etc.
Somewhat.
So, anyway, I better go. They seem to have stopped again. Not sure what they're doing. The fog is not here at the moment, so I'm going to creep closer to see if I can find out. So, radio silence, bye. There's nothing.
Grand, so I will put the cube away and just resume watch.
Okay. We will come back to you in a moment. So, going back down the stairs to where everybody else is. Florian was about to hold forth on an opinion, but has decided not to do it while down here.
Right, now, should we go and get something to eat?
I think we should head upstairs, yeah.
Are you sure you've got everything you need from this place?
Well, there's no loot, so yeah.
I think the talkies are wanting to talk, but
right.
I don't want to have to come back here if we come up with a theory. So why don't you out with it now?
Just from the information and knowing that some of this riding is potentially decades old, potentially older. It looks like this has been a plan for some time to get her back amongst from her realm to this one, I suppose. What if we found out as much as we can quickly, like heading towards the other city we're going to, the library and everything, could be more in depth. And if we found out more about the well that Yarrick's got, we could use it to our advantage. It seems like Celeste Petrov has made a deal somewhere along the line. If we know when, potentially, we can have the upper hand against Fiona. It could be a stupid idea, but it's just something for the mixing pot.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to go... You want to see if we can go back to the point where he made the deal and stop him from doing it?
Not necessarily the deal, but maybe Fiona could be weaker back then. If she was there to make the deal indeed. And we know that the well potentially can manipulate time.
What about when Celeste got here? Do you remember any details about how you got here, what you were doing beforehand?
Running for my life.
And then what happened?
found somebody who said that they could help me. And I came through a portal.
I mean, do you ever get the feeling with, I suppose, with what you've said about the age of these writings, that perhaps the person that helped you come through the portal may have been doing the same for your betrothed for a number of years, considering how old some of these writings that are? And you may not have come through, been gone to that person, and you may not have come here by accident. You might
I
be here
know.
by design.
All I know
Who's
is I wanted to get away.
who's to say that he came through?
If that's his handwriting, and I'm guessing that this place is pretty static, where else would
No.
it have come from?
Elves lived for a long time.
And the past.
Oh, are you saying there that he wrote it when he was in that time, and that was a long time ago, and we're just seeing it now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, I got that.
He nailed it. Look, you understood everything.
I mean, I'm just coming up with ideas here, and they can be stupid. They have been before. They could be handy, but it's something to bear in mind, right? If we've got a potential way of getting back to that time and stopping this,
I-
and I'm not
That-
saying right now it could take a long time for that to happen, but if we can try and keep the world safe, us safe, people we meet safe, until that point, it's worth thinking about, isn't it?
I mean, it is, but I want to raise one small caveat. If we do go back and we stop him from doing whatever it is that he's done, and then it changes what is in our world now, that would then remove our motivation for going back. So we may become unstuck in time and magically erased.
Yeah, Snow raises an important point.
How old would you say that this writing is?
I mean, obviously down here there's no weathering, there's nothing, but
There's no way to tell, really.
I mean, the style of the Elvish, you said it was archaic.
for
is-
How
us,
old does that mean?
I mean,
Would I know?
Yeah.
Or Gus or I with the Dwarvish.
Yeah, make a history check. Anyone?
I'm not going to do that because I've now sat down. I'm holding my head because it's hurting.
Okay.
I'm
16.
proficient in history. Would I be able to here?
Do you
Knowing
speak
that
Elvish or
it's-
Dwarvish?
Oh, it's going on just on the Elvish or Dwarvish, nothing
Yes.
to do. The Infernals is like the same
Infernal
as.
to Infernal.
Okay.
Celestial is Celestial.
I got
History,
16.
16, 16,
I got 17.
17. I mean, Snow, you have never seen Dwarvish like this written down, ever.
Mhm.
So you've no idea how old it could be.
No.
The Elvish, again, it's very rare to see Elvish written down. It's not something you've dealt with a huge amount of elves. So, again, it's very difficult to... It's not the Elvish that you learnt, put it that way. But
With-
you've never seen it before. So you surmise that it's got to be really old. I mean, centuries, because elves live, like, forever.
From the trading angle, the only reason I ask and the only reason I rolled is from the trading angle, would we ever traded in some sort of what we would class as relics or ancient texts, which we would have then
No.
given back?
No, the trade that you and your family made your money on
Mhm.
is precious gems and jewels from the Dwarven
Right.
Mountains.
Cool.
You know, it's not written goods or any kind of other exports. The most interesting stuff would come into the Dwarven kingdoms rather than out of them. What came out was just shiny things. To pay for all the stuff they wanted.
Fair.
Yorick, you have seen runes like these in ancient texts, mainly when you were studying to become a cleric. Very ancient runic texts for talking to and worshipping Riox and getting his guidance for the forge and the deep places and protection from things that live far, far underground. But it's not part of the modern dwarvish world. You would suspect this is at least 1,000 years old, perhaps older. The symbols, not the actual scratching in, that's not, but the actual text,
the dialect,
version is about 1,000 years old, you think. Similarly, Trelador, when you were sent to magic school to learn all the magics and stuff, there was a section that was about ancient texts and how to use them in scribing some of the oldest spells that the elves knew. But again, it wasn't really part of daily elvish life as you knew it, and you really didn't like school that much, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, I probably wasn't that interested.
Yeah, you know it's
I just know they're old.
They're old. You're not really sure how old.
Can I ask, how old did Lork perceive to be to me?
That's a very good question. I mean, Lork looked to be, on human terms, probably about 40-ish. Elvish. I mean, he could have been. I mean, they're a very old family, as is yours. You've never known a time when there wasn't a Lork. How old are you?
117.
Yeah. There's always been a Lork, so he's much older than you. You suspect he's... Well, you thought he was around sort of 300-ish. Whether that's true or not, who knows? Elves age very slowly.
Do you share that information, Yorick?
I will do, yeah, when we're out of this mode. Was there anything else to go through? Because I will...
No, I think that's just about it, although I will just quickly switch to Miet. Miet. Standing still, silent in shadows. The door to the building opens quietly and slowly. Just slowly. There's no noise, it's well oiled, this door. And two tiefling shapes walk in, hooded, grey cloaks. As it seems to be raining outside, they shut the door, pull their cloaks down. You can see the bighorns and their black clothing, similarly to the other ones that you saw. They haven't seen you, and they're just sort of quietly discussing. Well, I thought we would have been notified by now. What's going on? Nobody's come back. It's very odd. What should we do? The other one replies, well, I don't think it's too much to worry about. They would have, if it was dangerous, they would have called us, right? Should we go down and check, or should we could go to the pub? Surely. That wouldn't be too bad, right? Do you want to do anything yet?
No, I think the best option right now is to stay in the shadows.
Okay, so you stay in the shadows. This conversation goes back and forth a bit. One of them seems to be more keen on going downstairs and checking than the other one, who seems to be, angling for a let's have the night off. Nobody's called us. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think my voice tricks are going to be that good.
Seems that the one that is angling to go to the pub has won that particular conversation. they say, well, we'll come back in an hour or so, yeah? Just as a check. They won't notice we're a little bit late. And they open the door and leave. So, you know you've got about an hour or so before they come back. And they're probably going to go downstairs and check.
Once I'm sure they're well away,
Make a
I'll
perception check.
non-natural 20.
Yeah, you can hear them as they shut the door and still having this conversation. The one that wanted to go downstairs is still not overly convinced that he should be doing this, but you eventually hear him agree to the hour and no more. As they walk away, their voices get softer and softer as they go.
Okay. So I'll head back downstairs to appraise
Okay.
my fellows of our time limit to obtain additional information.
So you get down the stairs just as Yorick is about to say.
Actually, thinking about it, that hey Gus, you see the particular words that they're using? They've not been in common use for 1,000 years.
I wouldn't know that. I don't read that stuff.
Oh, that's why you're so stupid.
1,000 years.
Yep, that's what I reckon. I may be wrong. I'm no.
He is known for being
I
wrong.
know the word. See, I'm not smart. What did you say, Gus?
I said you're known for being wrong.
I'm known for writing things down though, and I've never written those words down.
That's true enough.
Is there any information, knowledge I may have come across as to when or why there may be no deities, no gods for us? We've only just found out there's some.
I mean, you've always...
Celeste is very much of talking about, obviously, so you've heard of several of them. Can I make a time to
always been of the opinion and been told that there are no gods. It's gods are something that madmen in Dar believe in. There's no real gods. It's what you were brought up on. And indeed, the Temple of the Broken Heart was always one to say, no, gods are not a thing. Love is the thing. You spread the love that you want to see in the world and encourage others to mend themselves through love. It wasn't ever about gods. I mean, you have read a lot in various libraries, so you could see. I'll say that you haven't been to a library that has any books that have reputable books that have expounded on the state of gods or deities of any kind in the libraries that you've been to so far. They're much like the ones that you saw in this city.
Yeah.
Gods are not really real. It's just a thing invented to placate children and those idiots in Dar.
Yeah, okay.
Did the Grand Madame ever give us a timescale of when the war over Helloran happened, involving the Tabaxi, Reorx, Remora, Peladas, and Fianna?
There was no timescale involved. It was an ancient story, albeit a true story, that had been handed down throughout the centuries.
So no idea how long ago that would have been.
I mean, if you possibly had asked the Madame of Madames whilst you were there, then you may have got an answer that made sense. You may not have done, but...
May have got a horrifying answer.
You may well have got a horrifying answer. Just don't forget, she was the one that made the deal to keep the Midwood safe?
I mean, there is one other person we could ask. You know, the maker of deals.
Yes, he's known for his straight answers.
I said we could ask. I didn't say we'd get an answer.
Fair.
That is very true. He did say that, you could ask. And you can if you wish, if you can figure out a way of doing so. But anyway, you walk in on this conversation, Miette.
Sorry, yeah. A patrol just arrived. They have thankfully decided that the pub is more important and wondering why they haven't been notified about the ritual's progress.
They've got a
What
point.
you want to,
I'd agree with that.
we have an hour if we want to detain them and possibly question them.
Oh, you can set up a trap.
That trap!
Be good fun.
Yes,
Maybe they've got the loot.
we've killed everyone down here, so
I'm
maybe
sure
they have
now
answers.
Yorick has set up a brilliant trap with all his stuff.
Mia, did the Madame and Madames ever tell you when that story she told us happened? The one between the gods and Vienna, the battle.
I don't believe she did. But it is also possible I just did not want to know how long she's been there.
That's reasonable. I just stumbled onto something a bit concerning. That's all.
I mean, I could try and ask Beladas. And if anybody... I suppose we don't have anybody connected to Rimora, do we?
Yeah, but we could try.
I can ask Beladas. I have a few questions for him already, considering what we've learned. But
I feel like questions should wait after we've done the ambush.
Yeah, maybe we go up and set up now and get in good positions.
I've got a good idea. Right, so we came down, right? So if Yorick sets up some sort of trap to capture them at the bottom of the stairs, and Trelador is standing there with his big axe to go and bosh them on the head if they try and move. And what I can do is hide upstairs with Bridris, and when they start going downstairs, and you spring the trap, and Bridris will go down the stairs behind them, then they can't run away because they'll have a dragon biting their buttons.
You're quite intelligent, aren't you? I know I haven't really spoken to you, but
That's a
I have
very
my
good idea. Yes.
Can I look
gonna-
around the room
Sorry.
for any other signs of Lork apart from his handwriting, or if there's any words that aren't to do with majesty or dark prince or anything along those lines?
Sure, make an investigation check.
No, I can't.
What'd you get?
That was a natural one.
Nope. It's overwhelming, really. The sheer just insanity. Words across words, over words, words that go from Elvish into Infernal, or start in Celestial and then descend into Infernal. It's really bizarre. I mean, you knew he wasn't all there, but that's really fucking strange.
I'm gonna crouch down and put my hands on Celeste's shoulders. We will find him, and we will make sure that he doesn't hurt anyone else.
The blood in the pool could belong to anybody I know.
Let's get upstairs and set this ambush then. Try and get some answers.
Well, no, the ambush is going to be downstairs. Were you not listening? The ambush is downstairs, but me and Bridris will be upstairs. Because then when they come in, they go downstairs, and then Bridris will go down behind them and block the stairway so they can't get past. And of course, bite them on the arse if he has to.
And we're not going to kill them, we're capturing, yeah?
Yeah, but I'm more worried that if they were waiting to hear from the people down here, they have some form of communication that we may not know about. So if that's the case...
Well, if they had some form of communication, they'd have known by now that something was wrong, wouldn't they?
I mean, they'd have a pretty good idea that their friends were dead.
We'll set up the ambush.
So what sort of trap do we want to do? Some sort of
good.
false steps so they fall down the stairs, or like pink hands on a string at the top of the stairs. We swing them down at them.
What about a net you drop on their heads?
A what drop?
A net.
A net? How can I make a net?
Well, get some rope and tie it together and make a net.
In like 55 minutes, Gus. What do you think I am?
I think you're really good at making stuff.
He can do complex clockwork, no problem, but thread?
Or you can all just
woven materials? No.
Or you can all just be ready at the bottom of the stairs, weapons ready, and surprise the shit out of them.
It'll settle on you.
And then, obviously, Gus and Bridris will be upstairs. I can be a lookout for them.
I was going to suggest we have Snow and Miette positioned upstairs as well to reinforce the back half. And there are a couple of alcoves on the way in before the stairs where the guards were at.
There's still a couple of bodies about, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Well,
we should...
there's the bodies of the normal kind of cultist types, ones dressed in black, yeah. The two summoners' buddies have vanished.
Oh.
As has
if anyone was wearing a cloak,
yeah,
I want to
the sort of
take it off.
Heavy grey cloaks that they wore.
Yeah, and I'm going to hope that I still had my party horns with me.
Yeah, don't see why you wouldn't.
So they will give the cloak the appropriate silhouette.
Nice.
And use that disguise while I am on point upstairs.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay.
I just like the image of it all through that fight, in mortal peril, you were still wearing your party horns.
Yeah, I still...
I mean, nobody said they were taking them off, so I assumed you were all wearing them.
Can you make something like some irons so we can connect a rope and swing them down?
I think the simplest thing, if we want to actually do something, is it's not a particularly well lit staircase, is it? Maybe we just fasten some rope above a step,
and then put like a sticky substance at the bottom and feathers or something so they stick. And
I really think you are overthinking this. There are lots of you with lots of really large weapons and really scary looking points at Trellador.
But when do you get this kind of opportunity, Snow?
Maybe you could put a tarantula somewhere or something, or heat a doorknob up, and that might put them off. I don't know.
Yeah, that could work. Drop an iron down a hatch.
I mean, these would have to be the dumbest idiots going to fall for any of that.
Okay. Well, tell you what we'll do is we'll have a little break while you lot try and work out which of the Home Alone traps you're going to use. Which I'm totally here for, by the way. I think that's a genius idea. But yeah, we'll have a quick break, grab a drink, and we'll be right back after these special messages. There's no special messages. We're not sponsored.
Wow.
welcome back to Damage Does D&D. Helloran Rising. We left it with the party planning to maybe set a few traps, or certainly an ambush for the 2 patrol members that Miet overheard, who have gone to the pub to sharpen their reflexes, obviously. So, without further ado, let's jump back in and see what traps you have planned. What's your plan? What do you want to do?
Just a suggestion, but I have these paints we found a little while back. You can paint stuff with them, and it'll be, made real. And that includes holes and gaps and stuff.
Oh,
I was thinking maybe we sneakily, in the darkness, remove one of the steps or make it unstable so that when they walk down, it collapses from underneath them.
Let me know which one so I can avoid it.
Yeah.
I mean, the second from bottom might work.
I'll have a look at the stairs, see which ones are shrouded in darkness.
I mean, the bottom of the stairwell is pretty dark. To you, anyway, because you don't have dark vision.
It's a thought.
I mean, if these paints can do things, can you just remove the bottom of the step and leave the very top so it looks like it's
That's
still
what I was
there?
going to do. That's what I was
And
going to
then
do.
leave it very thin, so if they step on it, it will go through and they go whoosh.
Celeste.
And this won't damage them permanently. They don't fall into a void, just fall down.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
Right. Should I do that then?
Like,
I
I was quite pleased with Gus's idea about washing something.
Maybe
Muted,
We
James.
can't hear Gus because Gus has decided not to talk.
maybe a couple of us downstairs have some ropes at the ready so we can tie them up too.
Let me and Bridris go upstairs and get hided then.
Yeah.
And anyone else
Maybe
as well.
Okay, so
Right.
Gus and Bridris are going up the stairs.
I'm also going upstairs.
Where do you want me, Melissa?
I think the rest of us should stay down here, take hide, and then you can quickly rush in and detain them, whilst the rest of us tie them up.
I don't have any rope for some reason.
Probably because you've used it and not got it back.
I've got some in my bag over there.
I've
And I'm going
got
to set myself up.
I
The second from last step, I'm going to use my marvelous pigments to kind of basically carve out the underside of the step so that it's hollow underneath.
Okay.
And if
nice. Okay,
if someone
you're gonna
walking
do-
downstairs put the full weight of themselves on
Make
it,
a performance
collapse.
check, please,
Okay.
for your art. Is anybody else doing anything?
I've gone upstairs.
You're going upstairs. Okay.
22.
22. Yeah. You convincingly paint what you see as a gap where the front and centre of this stone step should be, and leave a wafer thin step platform, as it were. Not really, just connected to the sides of the wall, but not connected to anything else.
Yeah, all right. Can I get you to look at this? Make sure.
looks great. Yeah.
Does it look like the kind of stair that you would accept made out of stone?
If you jump up, and I'll go up and look down in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Looks like a normal step to me.
yeah, you don't see any difference between the other steps and that one
Does it
from
look
this angle.
unstable enough from below?
I think even the lightest of persons putting their weight on that is going to break the stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll call up and say, "Yeah, second from last,
Thank you.
penultimate."
So,
how
just to
much?
clarify, they're going to walk in, fall down the step, and then we tie them up.
Yes.
And I think the ones upstairs are going to follow them down to make sure they can't escape. How much? How many pots did we say that I had?
I thought it was
That
3.
was 3.
I thought it was
Three.
3, yeah.
So how many?
Well, they are quite small pots, so I would suggest it's going to take at least half a pot to do that.
Each pot of paint is sufficient to cover 1,000 square feet of the surface.
Oh, right, okay. Then you're good. Don't worry about it.
Everlasting pots.
Pretty much.
Who's going to have the ropes at the bottom? Maybe.
I'll stick at the bottom. You don't want me upstairs trying to be sneaky.
Speaking of,
the rest
Yorick,
of
was
us-
there anything else you wanted to do? Are you going to
I
build something?
kind of
make something?
really wanted to set up some sort of tripwire linked to some sort of swinging contraption.
Okay, explain to me what it is you're going to do, and then we'll figure out how you do that. I mean, you could have a look about in the cavern to see what's about.
Yeah, I'll go take a look upstairs, see what I can.
Well, downstairs where you are, there are any number of, say, pointy rock type things. Stalagmites.
I'm going for more blunt than pointy. Sorry, if
I did say stalagmites, which are the ones that grow up.
tides come down, we all know that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean there are. Some of these things are really wide at the base.
What I might do actually is just get some of my tools. I've got carpenter's tools and smith's tools and stuff. So
sure,
a couple of chisels or little hammers or rock hammers or something.
Sure.
Tie them up, attach them to. I don't. Tell me what of this is possible. Attach them to the ceiling so that it's sort of pressed it up against the ceiling with a swing point.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you've got things like pythons in your kit.
Probably.
Rock climbing. Being a dwarf.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could use one of those, hammer it into the ceiling, use it as a fulcrum to swing your bunch of tools. A couple of your larger hammers, rock hammers, would be a good plan.
Yep. I'll do those. Run the have something else screwed in so that the hammer's sort of precariously hooked onto it.
Sure.
So that the rope then comes down, is then along where a step is, it's sort of the rope.
Well, what I'll say is if you wanted to, you could attach it to where Melissa has taken the paint away from that step. So the first person to step on it will break the step,
and
fall over, release the thing, so the second person is not going to fall over, gets smacked in the face with the... Why am I doing all the work here? Damn it, I could have kept that one for myself.
Sorry, Chaz, how would you like to do this?
Well, yeah, quite. So, yeah, I'll say you can do that. Just give me a quick D20 roll. But if you beat my D20 roll, you can have it.
God, I hate that cameras never pick these up. Does a natural 20 win?
Yeah, that beats my 12, certainly.
Yeah, too shiny.
Yay! Yep,
too shiny.
So, yeah, Yorick sets this elaborate trap. Everybody downstairs, I assume you're just sort of falling away into the alcoves either side of the thing. Much like the people did when you came down the stairs to
Let's
trap
make sure
and set their ambush.
the bodies aren't in line of sight at the stairs as well.
Yes,
sure.
Could be.
So you can do that.
whilst everybody else is setting up, because I can't really do much at the minute, I'll help move the bodies.
Sure.
I think there was where the stairs were. There was like the wall extended a bit,
It
and then
did.
there was like an alcove there.
Yeah.
So the two bodies, the one what was already in the alcove, won't move, but the one what was opposite it, there was like someone there.
Yeah.
I'll drag them over to that,
I'll
and
say
then
you
obviously
can
go.
get the bodies out of sight of the line of sight of the stairs coming down easily.
Okay.
Just whilst I'm doing that, can I do a quick rummage to see what weapons and that they had?
Sure, make an investigation check.
Melissa,
Hmm?
that book that you found the picture of,
Yeah.
I was wanting to see if maybe there would be a description of Lorik in there. Would you help me look, please?
We can do. Let's go get into an alcove and we'll go
Okay, we'll
sit
hold
among
that
the
thought.
alcoves.
We'll come back to that.
12.
12. I mean, they've got fairly bog standard longbows. A couple of them. So I think there were 3 that had bows and short swords. The others have got fairly standard swords. Nothing better than anything you guys have already got, certainly.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, and I think after I've done that, I'm pretty nippy. I'm pretty fast, so I think I would probably hide in that alcove, which obviously extends from the stairs and goes round,
Sure.
and get ready to literally just sprint to them and help anybody tie them up.
Sure, absolutely.
If there's an alcove across Florian,
Yep.
I'll take that one so I can keep an eye on him.
Yep, I'll say you can keep an eye on him for a different alcove. Yeah, sure.
Upstairs, because we found the trapdoor in the kitchen, didn't we?
Well, it's not really a kitchen anymore, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you
it's a
know what I
second
mean, but
room,
sort of
yeah.
the way. How did the door open? Did it open up against the wall, and then we sort of went in, and the rest of the room's there, or because
Yeah, there was the front door opened into the first room, which was completely empty. Then there's another door. Was it a door or a doorway? I think it was a doorway. I don't think there was a door on it that led into this place. And the trapdoor was sort of off to the left as you came through the doorway. It's not quite L-shaped, but nearly.
Yeah. So with the furniture that's in the room and the doorway itself, would there be a way that I could basically perch above the doorway, so as they walk through, I'll be looking directly down on them?
Cat wants high places.
No, but
Okay.
you could. I mean, you could get onto a sort of like countertop that was just by the doorway. You wouldn't be right above the doorway, but you'd be certainly, I don't know, say 3 feet off the ground.
Okay, never mind. It doesn't suit
Yeah.
the purpose I
No,
wanted.
you're not
So
going to be able to drop down on them at all.
Damn. okay.
Is there an upstairs?
If we can. Sorry, say again, Gus?
Is there an upstairs?
To this
I
building?
didn't.
No.
Yeah. I didn't really think this through. Where am I going to hide with Bridris?
Yeah,
There's rooms off the side, aren't there?
there's 2 rooms.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll go and hide in one there.
The room that you come into off the street,
Oh.
which is a sort of squarish room with nothing in it, and then there's an sort of doorway, no door on it, leads into a second room, which is where the trapdoor is to go down the stairs.
Mhm.
There are some countertops along this second room that are about 3 feet off the ground. It's not
Well, I could
particularly
clean under one of them, but Bridris couldn't. Is there a back door?
No. Well, there was, but it's been sealed up with stone.
Oh, right.
Is under these countertops, is it just clear space, or is it curtained off? Is it?
It's just clear space. It looks like
Right.
they've taken everything out of this place.
Oh,
Gentlemen, may I make a suggestion?
idea. Go on then.
I was going to suggest that with my disguise, I wanted to fool them into chasing me. So they don't get time to think about how quiet it is downstairs and why there's no noise of chanting. So perhaps if you were to go back downstairs, and I will try to lead them.
I've got a better idea. Right? So I can ask Bridris to go away, and then I can hide underneath these counters, and I can be all sneaky and stealthy. And then when they go downstairs, I can summon Bridris to come back in the stairway
I mean,
behind them.
But there's nothing under the counters.
I
I would
no,
see
it
you.
would be.
the cloaks of the rest of these cretins. If we go and fetch a couple of the cloaks from downstairs, we can drape them over the counters, perhaps. And if they're not going to have time to consider what they're doing in chasing you, we could always cover ourselves with drape the cloaks on the countertops, so it covers a portion of them. And
Yes.
we would be out of sight. And then when you come running past and they come running after you, we could then follow and
behind.
Gas could summon Bridris in the stairwell, like we said.
Yes. Excellent idea.
Bear with me a moment, and I'll sort of travel sort of back down the stairs, but I'll stop sort of 4 steps up, and I'll call out. We're going to need a few of the cloaks of the cretins we killed. If you could pass some up, that would be good.
I'll get the 2 or 3 from the little alcove I'm in, where I stashed the bodies.
Sure. Yep.
Walk back round and kind of
Florian
scrunch and
throws you 3 cloaks.
And then I'll go sort of back upstairs. And what I'll do is I'll get some arrows, and I'll snap the barbs off them, and then put the cloak on the countertop. And what I'll do is I'll just, using the handle off my dagger, just knock them into the countertop, just so it secures the cloak.
Yeah, easy enough to drape
In place.
cloaks and create some makeshift curtains for Gus to hide behind. Sure. You want to hide behind there as well?
Yeah, I'll sort of fold myself in a very cat-like manner.
Okay. And sorry, go ahead, Gus.
I'll go up to Bridris and say, right, now we're going to have a bit of fun.
Excellent.
Okay? So what I'm going to do
I'm quite
is
hungry actually, because I haven't eaten any of those people downstairs, and I should really eat.
don't worry, you can do that in a very, very soon. But this is going to be
Cool.
fun for you.
Right, excellent.
Right,
What am I doing?
What you're going to do is you're going to go home.
Can I eat one of the cats?
No, eat a cat. They're too furry. You'll get stuck in your throat.
Well,
Do we get looks off? Do we get sort of like a sideways glance off the big dragon?
Yeah. She's like, can I eat one of the cats?
All very, very sort of like markedly take about 3 steps back.
Right, now listen, focus.
Right. Yep, focused.
Right. So there's 3 dead ones downstairs. You can have those for your supper when we go back down, right? Focus.
Yep.
So I'm going to send you home, right? And then when the baddies come in, just listen, when the baddies come in, they're going to go downstairs, and I'm going to call you back behind them so you scare their pants off them. And then we've got to capture those 2, and so the talky people can talk to them, and then you can go back downstairs and eat all the rest of them. The dead one is.
But not the one on the altar.
But I like it when like I sort of have to chase them a bit. It's more fun.
Well, yeah, you can chase them down the stairs.
And then eat them.
No, you can bite them, but don't kill them. Because they need to talk to them first.
But no.
Well, we need to do this.
Oh.
Do you remember that bloke that bopped you on the nose and really hurt you?
Yeah, I like him.
Right. We want to find out from them where his boss is so we can go and beat him up. And you can eat him.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
All right. Go on.
How has it been made that the group is 2 separate people and one group is just called the talky ones?
I think you'll find that line is very, very blurry.
Yeah,
considering last week we couldn't get
every
to
week.
shut up, so we could go out and catch tieflings.
Right. Plan's all set.
So,
Bridget is ready.
I want stealth checks from Snow and Gus upstairs. Miette, what are you doing? You're going to stay in plain sight and then run like buggery.
More or less. I want to position myself to that when the door starts cracking open, that I will appear to be walking just from the kitchen room into the room they're entering.
Okay, all right.
So it's kind of like a held action, as a sense.
Yep. Okay, we'll make a held performance check at that point when that happens. Okay.
Okay.
So remind me if I forget.
Okay.
So stealth checks for Snow and Gus, please.
30.
30.
I'd like to remind everyone that I have a +10 to stealth.
Awesome.
I got 11.
You got a natural 1.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fantastic. Good
Oh,
stuff.
gosh.
So when you were talking about what you were going to do, Gus, when my gut literally sank and went fuck, it was right in doing so.
Come on. I have +10 to stealth. It was.
So,
But it's a natural 1, so in other words, I need to get a really high performance check to distract them.
I mean, Gus did
Pretty
drink
much.
quite a lot, so we might just have, like, the alcohol farts.
Yeah, might
So-
do.
Alternatively, sorry, I just can't resist saying this.
Go.
Since Snow got a 30, what we do is we drape Snow over Gus, so Gus will disappear.
Like an invisibility cloak.
Awesome.
Yes.
It'll be more like
Invisibility.
An invisibility cat. I like it.
it'll be more like Gus thinks he's so clever he'll just be sitting under there giggling.
Wait, catalytic converter.
Oh,
Okay, I'm laughing at my own joke. That's bad. Okay, those that are downstairs in alcoves, I also need a stealth check for, please.
yeah.
DC isn't as high as the ones upstairs, obviously. That they aced.
Oh.
It's like a bit of a waste of a good roll.
Yeah, mine here as well, but I'm rolling quite high. So I'm
Okay,
good.
so what do we get, Celeste?
Natural 1.
Natural 1, fantastic. Florian,
21.
21. Melissa,
22.
22. Trelador,
12.
12. Yorick.
At disadvantage, 17.
Well done.
Nice, well done. Okay. So, what we will say, did you two want to have a look at this book first before we launch into this? You've got a few minutes yet.
Yeah, we just sat
With all the prep.
quietly looking through it.
Okay.
I don't understand the words, and there aren't a lot of pictures, but maybe you could just give me a
I mean,
brief...
you've got 2 books. There are a few pictures or drawings of various devils, and of course, obviously, an etching of Fiona.
I want to look for anything that looks vaguely like the Lork that I know, even if it's in a different form. Just sort of the eyes, especially, would be what would stick out to me.
Make a perception check, please. And you can. Have you ever You've seen Lork, have you, Melissa? You know what he looks like? Or he's been described to you?
I think she's
Probably been described to us.
described him to us, but
Described him to us.
Okay.
But I'm also looking at the infernal names and looking for the root name of Lork.
Okay, well, you make an investigation
In there.
check then.
I'd give her the family name, which would be Mahaor as well. Mahaor.
My dice, good job I remember the number. Where does that go?
Spell that surname again there, Celeste.
Sorry?
Spell that surname again.
Mahaor.
Thank you.
I got
Nope, that's
16
gone.
for perception. I rolled
16.
pretty low.
Okay.
Investigation. 20.
20.
17 plus 3.
There don't appear to be any pictures or drawings of a being that would look similar to Lork in here. However, there is a name that's all similar. It's in Infernal, so and it's Maohr.
N-A...
M for mother.
Sorry, M-A...
Yeah. Mike Alpha Oscar Hotel Romeo.
Mara.
Now, this passage that contains his name is describing an ally of the prince. Doesn't say whether it's a devil or not, just an ally.
Ally of the Prince. Does it describe anything else about them?
No, just the name. And the fact that there was an ally of the prince named this person, this name, many hundreds, at least 2,000 years ago.
How did you spell that last name? Celeste?
In common, M-H-A-O-R.
M-H-E-R.
I mean, it could be a translation thing from Infernal to Common, but it certainly sounds, the way you would say it in Infernal sounds a bit like the way you would say it in Common. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough that you think might be worth looking at.
This name here is very similar. It's not quite written down the same way, but it gets weird when you translate it between Elvish, Common, Infernal, all of that. Mauer. Then, based on the devils I know, they don't tend to be too imaginative when coming up with disguise names. I mean, Vale basically just used the first half of her real name, or name given to us, but it's possible listed an ally of the prince. Not much else. And I'll put my arm around Celeste to be comforting, the same as she did for me.
Okay. Upstairs, there are voices, slightly tipsy, which may play into your favour yet. Who knows? So, the door handle rattles, and there's a you idiot! You're supposed to push. God, it's like you've never been here before. And the door opens quite loudly and violently as the two of them stumble through the door. They shut the door loudly. So, what? Why are we? Yeah, oh yeah, we gotta go speak to the boss, I suppose. Best sober up first, eh? Make your performance check. As they turn towards the kitchen separate area and come off mute as well, probably be best. Or not, if you know.
The bad luck is catching.
What'd you get? Natural one?
Well, as Gus phrased it, I have a +9 to performance, so I got 10.
Oh dear.
So as you sort of spin to sort of catch their attention, you do, but unfortunately your cloak catches on one of the barbs that Snow has stuck into the countertop to hold the other cloaks, and it rips the cloak off you because you've just sort of thrown it over you to maintain the shape, and your horns sort of fall back because they're only pretend, and sort of start to come off your head where the hood of the cloak comes down, and they both sort of look at you and go, "What the fuck?" And as you sort of spin round to run back to the stairwell, you take all of the cloaks with you, bar one, which is the one that Snow's behind. But Gus is sitting again, and then it gets all sort of light, and you go, huh. So let's see if they notice you. They've definitely noticed me. No, that one doesn't notice you. And nor does that. So they don't notice you.
Excellent. They're well into your cups.
Told you I was stealthy.
But they are starting on their heels. They've got over their surprise and they're coming for Miette. Because she is definitely not what they expected to be in this room. So,
I will
Miette,
pause
what
long
do you
enough to say shit and infernal and start running.
Okay. So, you start running. You get a head start on them. They look sort of. They do that comical look at each other thing. What
The fuck is going on here?
And then start to run after you. So you're running down the stairs.
As the cloak's gone,
Yeah.
as soon as I see them go down the stairs, I'm going to come out of my hiding space and go to the top of the stairs and wait till they're about halfway down and summon Bridris behind them.
Okay, hold that thought. Snow, what are you up to? Anything?
I'm just going to be sitting there like this, sort of like eyes half closed, and then I'll crack an eye because I see the one cloak come off, roll my eyes, and go, "By all the waters, I knew this was a bad idea," and then lean forward and draw 2 daggers and just wait to hear the slap of feet go past.
Okay, so Miette is running down the stairs. The guys that are downstairs, you can hear Miette. Because she's not making any secret about coming down the stairs. I mean, she's soft-footed, but even so, you can hear it. You're listening for it anyway. And she jumps from the 3rd step. I'd like you to roll a deception check, Mia, so that they don't understand why you're jumping.
Right, let's hope this goes better than the last roll.
Well, it's not a particularly high DC. They are drunk and just chasing you.
I actually thought my deception would be higher. 15.
15? Yeah, that's cool. So you jump from the 3rd step, land on the floor, and you see them stumbling down after you. Snow, you see them go past. You see Gus and then get up to summon Bridris.
Yeah.
Gus, you summon Bridris. Where are you putting her? Halfway down the stairs, just behind these guys?
Yeah, about 10 feet behind them.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Just make sure they can't. They turn round. They're not coming back up those stairs.
Can you... Okay, make... What's Bridris's intelligence?
Oh, it's quite high. Hold on.
Make an intelligence roll for Bridris.
Okay. Oh, it's not quite high. It's about the same. Is that that's worse than mine? Oh dear. Okay.
Yes.
Goodbye, Miette, my fluffy one.
13.
I don't think I'm the one in danger right now.
Okay. Can you make a... She has a breath attack, right?
No, only bite.
Okay,
Take
make a
that
bite
back.
attack, please.
Okay.
You can have advantage because they are definitely not expecting this. And they are not paying any attention to her. They are chasing me.
25.
25. Roll some damage, please.
Yeah, at the top of the stairs, as I'd see sort of Bridris come back, I'll just nudge Gus and just say to him, "You could at least have let her have one. We only need to speak to one of them."
That's 6 points of piercing damage and 6 points of lightning damage.
Nice. Let me just quickly look at my... Don't think they had that little health. No, they're fine. Okay, so she bites into them literally on the butt because that's what you said she could do. So she does. And he screams as he is terrified because there's a thing behind him biting his ass. He's not happy about this one. The one in front looks back, sees him get bitten by Bridris, steps on the trap, falls straight onto the floor. Your trap goes off, swings down, hits the other guy who's going ah like that, straight into the face, like literally one of these huge rock hammers, smack straight in the face. He goes backwards, starts sliding down the stairs. He's in a world of hurt. You can roll the damage on that. Roll me 2d6.
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 What did you say?
2d6.
2d6. 8.
8 points of damage. So yeah, 8 points of bludgeoning damage to the face. He is not happy. He's sort of bonking down the stairs. His companion takes. Melissa, roll me a d8.
3.
3. As he foot hits the gap where the stairs should be, goes over onto his takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage to the face on the floor. So you've got both of them are prone. One's face down on the floor, the other one is face up but sliding down the stairs.
I'll be like, now Trellador, and like literally as we were nip around the corner to try and I'll jump on the one what's prone.
Okay.
Get his hands on his back.
Yep.
Ready for them to be at least starting to tie him up.
I'll be rushing over with my rope to come and get them tied up.
So
Just stand there with my axe and go, my associate's going to tie you up now. Try not to struggle.
Awesome.
I'll just be wielding the axe.
Okay, make an intimidation check. Florian, I would like a grapple check, so acrobatics or... Oh no, it's athletics, isn't it? Athletics for you.
Yeah. Do I have to make
10.
that with advantage? as
With
he's
advantage,
face down on
he's
the floor?
definitely not expecting that. 10 for intimidation.
Nice.
Yeah, you're not that scary, really, are you? Yeah, just a little fluffy kitten.
21.
21. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Before he knows what's going on, you've got both his arms sort of almost twisted, with presenting his hands here, sort of like that.
Yeah.
But both of them like that, sort of twisted around each other for Melissa, who easy enough makes the first one tied up. The second one is sort of bouncing down the stairs. Anybody doing anything about him?
I'll go and jump on him.
Okay.
I'll come up behind with the rope.
Okay. Make a athletics check. Yorick.
Oh, that's very good.
So
That's
he's
a
got
great roll. 25.
25. Yeah, again, not a problem. Yanking almost his arms out of his socket, you hold them up for Celeste to tie.
I got him! I got him!
Let's just recap. So he's got a shred his ass cheek, a concussion, and now he's got a scary bearded dwarf in heavy armour ragging his arms out of the sockets.
He's not having a great day. This
I
is
mean-
the one that wanted to go to the pub, didn't want to come downstairs, so, he's been justified.
Oh, he's really regretting his life choice, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like, why did I get talked to this one? So, yeah, Celeste, you managed to tie his arms. Yeah, Bridris is very excited. Yeah, she's gonna have another bite, please.
Okay.
She's very excited.
Interestingly, she's got the same intelligence as me and more wisdom.
Awesome. So
Oh
we
no,
can
actually, no, she's not as clever, but she is wiser.
Well, that's the Gus is not.
Sorry, what was that?
Natural 20.
Oh my god.
As you said, very excited. So that's
Yeah.
Who's she biting?
2,
The
4,
one she
7,
bit before.
7
one
points of piercing damage and 10 points of lightning damage.
Nice.
The one that slid down the stairs?
Yes.
The one that she bit before.
Mhm.
So as he's sliding down the stairs, she's chomp and bites. Basically, her jaws go over his head and she rips his head off.
I guess we only need one to answer questions.
Oops.
So the blood goes everywhere. His mate can't see this as his mate is face down, facing the other way.
That was
I'll
brilliant.
probably just go to Florian and go, remind me again why we hid?
I don't know.
With dark vision, would me and Gus have been able to see her bite his head off at the bottom of the
Absolutely,
stairs?
yeah.
Oh,
You just see her
I
go,
mean-
woof, and
And
a
it
spray of
nudged-
blood goes up above as she rips it off.
He'd nudge Gus again and go, well, I mean, we only needed one.
That's true. All right. Well, let's go down. Well done, Bridris. You did a fantastic job. That crunchy, is it?
Mm.
Well, you might as well have the rest of now. You've eaten the top of it. You might as well finish it off.
Okay.
Oh.
She opens her jaws. Yorick, make a dexterity saving throw to try and get out of Bridget's way as she's going to eat the rest of this dude.
14.
14. Yeah, it's not difficult to dodge the dragon. She's coming to, and you're just like, you know what? Fuck that.
And you know she's going to eat any loot that he has on him, right?
Well, yeah, but she doesn't digest loot. She'll just poop it out.
I mean, if you want to go fishing through it, then that's up to you.
Well, these are only minions, aren't they? They won't have any proper loot.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm going to stand or sit the other one up. What I've got.
Yep. So you can pull him to his knees.
You might want to face him towards Bridris so he can see what's happening. That'll terrify him.
Before I do anything else with him, Melissa's obviously tied their hands up.
Yep.
So I'm going to empty his pockets, his belt, anything which is a weapon or just literally anything, just so he's got nothing on him.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's not struggling at the minute. He's just absolutely nonplussed as to what the hell is going on and where all his mates are. And, you know, he's heard a sort of horrible noise from behind him that didn't sound really very good at all. In fact, a series of horrible noises culminating in something that sounded like someone getting their head ripped off. Mainly because that's what it was. But yeah, you frisk him. He's got a dagger, a short sword, and a crossbow. All of iffy quality. Mm-hmm. He has about 3 gold on him.
Yeah, I'll just take it all out of his pockets, his scabbards, anything, and just chuck it away from him, so he's got nothing.
Okay, you can do that. He's like, what's going on?
Good evening, darling.
What? What do you want? What?
These people are going to talk to you, and it may be at length. Prepare yourself.
What?
So, Nurse Evening, what were you coming down here to do?
I'm working. I mean, where's Gloran? Was he? What?
Who's
what
that?
are you not doing here? You're not supposed to be down here.
No, but we don't take kindly to people stealing our blood for, the summoning of devils.
What? I just get paid to, patrol the corridor down here. I don't.
Insight check.
Of course,
please.
mate.
Yeah, insight check as well.
Yep.
So
15.
15.
One of these rolls is going to go horribly wrong, isn't it? 22.
22. 15. Yeah, you're pretty sure he doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. Florian, you see that he might know a little bit of what you're talking about. He's covering something up. He doesn't seem to be quite as shell shocked as he's making out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just be like, probably best to tell the truth and not look so disheveled and shell shocked that you actually not.
I mean, I just fell down the stairs and then somebody tied my hands up.
So did you say suddenly or summoning? Because that's definitely the questions we're looking for.
What? I don't know anything about summoning. I just patrolled the corridors.
Oh, but maybe we'll just get your boss's boss here then and get her down, yeah? And she can then ask you why you fucked up.
I was just at the pub. Look, it was Davos's fault. He said we should go to the pub first. I said no, but then he said that he was really convincing. I didn't want to get into trouble. I knew we were going to be late for our shift.
I'm going to get up close to him and put like a claw across the lips to shut him up because he's getting annoying. What were you supposed to be notified about before you decided to go to the pub? And then I'll remove the pause so you can answer.
Well, normally somebody comes to get us. for a shift change, and nobody did, so we figured.
No. I heard you. You said you were supposed to be notified of something, that no one would notice if you were an hour late. No one was coming to fetch you. You were coming to receive a message. What was it?
We make an intimidation check.
While she does that,
With
can I
advantage,
twist?
I mean, there's a lot
I
of
was
shit
going to
going
say, can I won't do what I was going to do if she's got advantage with everything else going on.
Yeah,
I had a 16.
16. I mean, you are fairly scary. He sort of looks at you for a bit, looks at everybody else that's going on. It's like, right, well, we were supposed to get a message to take to outside of town and wait for the rendezvous. But I don't know what the message was. Nobody told us what the message was. There was nobody here. I mean, we went to the
Who
pub.
were you supposed to meet? Who were you supposed to meet?
Here, Gloria.
No, outside. When you said outside the city.
Outside, I don't know. We were supposed to wait at a set point, and we would be approached, and we would know them because there would be a tall bloke, pointy ears, and he would give us a code word.
And where were
the
you meant to
code
meet
word
him?
was?
The code word is Celeste.
And where is
Thank
this
you.
rendezvous point?
Oh, it's outside of town to the northwest. About 2 miles out, there's a small clearing just before just before the river.
I need to make sure he's telling the truth, Chaz, because this could be an absolute bullshit.
Make an insight check.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Okay.
I would have made my way to the bottom of the stairs as he was talking, and I would just put my claws on his shoulders and just slowly rake them over the shoulders.
I don't want a massage.
17.
17.
I only got 14 this time.
14. Okay. Florian, you think he's telling the truth? Melissa, it's not the truth.
So
I'm gonna just kind of
He seems to
put
be
my
making
hand.
it up.
I'm just gonna put my hand on his cheek and say, "Now, darling, you wouldn't want to be able to keep on lying to us."
Make an intimidation check with advantage because of Snow's cute little massage.
Massage.
yeah, and then sort of just to try and reinforce the point. Obviously, this is going to be part of the same thing. I really would answer the lady's question because, I mean, we could always let my friend's pet have you.
That was
What? What'd you get?
That was a polarizing roll. Saving from a natural one. 22.
22. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. We had to go outside of town, still to the northwest. We had to go across the river and head towards the Dagobah Hills. And then, once we got there, right to the foothills, there's a camping site that we have to go to. We have to wait there until the man comes and tells us the code word, which is Celeste.
Right. Thank you, darling. I'd suggest you keep telling us the truth throughout. It'll make it a lot easier for us.
I don't know anything else.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Insight on that one?
Absolutely, yeah, roll it.
Has it got to the point where he's basically got a yellow, like, he's pissed himself?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, my dice
that
are
was a
already...
while back.
Yeah.
My dice are low or high. Insight's natural 20 for 24.
24. Yeah, he's absolutely terrified of all of you. There's no way he's going to be making any more lies. He's
Who are you
desperate to
going
get
to
away.
meet?
What? I told you I was going to. I don't know.
Celeste. Wait for a moment.
You're all lunatics.
Can you render this gentleman unconscious for a moment?
I'll punch him with my stone fist.
Okay.
Not to necessarily do a lot
Yeah,
of harm,
roll
but
an
at least to
attack
render him
roll with
unconscious.
advantage. He is tied up and on his knees.
At this point, I think I'd get Bridris to come into the room as well and sort of stand in front of him, probably chewing on one of the legs of
Yeah,
his friend.
she's not letting her afternoon snack go. She's brought that with her. And it's sort of dangling out of her mouth. His two legs are dangling on an arm, whereas the other arm's somewhere inside. And as soon as she appears, he's like, oh.
For the entirety of this, talking to him, kind of crouched in front of him, I have not let the kind, warm, friendly smile drop. Constant.
Okay.
That'll be the last thing he sees then. A dirty 20 to
Yeah.
hit.
Oh, definitely hit. So you.
I made a mistake. I should not have mentioned. That is why he's unconscious and not dead.
I believe that's the most you've ever done for him.
But we will certainly need to kill him when we are finished with him, because I made the mistake of saying Celeste's name in front of him.
I didn't think that.
We can just give him to Bridris and she can play with him and eat him.
Certainly. The person he was going to meet in the Dagobah Hills was Lork and his party.
And nobody thought to ask him where the loot was, did they?
No.
The Dagobah Hills?
The Dagobah Hills, the same place.
Isn't
the
that
orcs
where?
came from.
Yes, isn't that where those very strangely large orcs were from?
Yes.
Where they're originally from, yeah.
Yeah, weren't you upstairs when we were discussing?
I am having Lork tracked. I said some time ago that we did not have to focus only on one job, that it is possible to achieve two goals at once. So I took one of them into my own paws, and I have been having Lork tracked.
Your ingenuity catches me off guard a lot of the time. Apologies.
He is unfortunately a lot closer than I would like. And I am certain, given the current location, that is who this group was meant to meet.
I'll stand up and look over to Celeste.
Well, if we
You
didn't
all right,
know,
darling?
I think in this case, Derek, I am the loot in which you speak of.
Oh,
Well, we've already got you, so that's
oh,
new.
got you. That's what I was going to say.
So what we need to do is go over to the Macabooby Hills. And
No,
Snorri.
we need to go the other direction. We need to avoid meeting up at Lork. There is more going on there than we know yet.
Oh, he's just a monster. We'll kill him.
Celeste, I am sorry I did not tell you about this. I wanted to either present you Lork's head on a platter or give you the opportunity to deal the killing blow yourself. But the fact is that he has allies we don't know about yet. We don't have enough information to do that.
Speaking of platters, can we go get something to eat? I'm starving.
Well, don't ask Bridris to share because she won't.
Yeah.
That's okay. Snow, what were you going to say?
So the way I see it is we've got two options. I mean, firstly, we're going to go and get some food, some supplies, etc. And then, so we can either travel to Silot via the river, or we can go back towards the Midwood. Either way, we've got to cross the water.
Well, I want to get back. Oh, it's much nicer than travelling on foot.
I don't believe I'm about to say these words, but I think we need to get to one where we can talk about this.
Yeah.
I think
Somewhere
so.
we can get some food, have some drinks, and then we can talk about it.
I think
Let's
Silence
bring
would
him
have
with
edged
us.
out again as well. Like Snow said, the information there could be more credible, should we say.
I don't think he is going to have much information for us, Trelador.
Well, maybe Bridges could have him for after.
But either way, this cretin dies here because he has heard Celeste's name. We cannot let him live. I mean, if you find it unpalatable, then you may all leave, go upstairs, and I will kill him myself.
At this point, Bridges turns to you and goes, puts a claw out, because she's heard that she's been allowed to kill him. The claw out sort of hooks it round one of his arms, starts dragging him towards her.
I know
I
he had.
guess-
Sorry, I was just gonna say. I know he had. I emptied his pockets and stuff like that. He doesn't have like any rings, necklaces, or like bracelets on or anything. Any jewelry, does he?
Make an investigation check as she's pulling him across the floor.
And good luck trying to get them off her without getting bitten.
Oh well, the investigation's quite good. 18 plus 2, so 20.
20. There are. He's got a bracelet that's sort of silvered. You don't know whether it's real silver or just a piece of metal. Doesn't look particularly valuable. He doesn't have any rings or anything on. He has a sort of small chain around his neck.
Take the chain and the bracelet off.
Okay.
This is a tiefling gentleman, yes?
Yep.
Had he got a bell on his horns at all?
He does not, no.
He does not.
I do. On my horns.
You do, yeah.
Snow,
I'm gonna
what's your thinking in returning to the Midwoods?
The magic there can stop any one of us being tracked. It's there to protect, it's there to obscure. It cuts us off from our connection with our gods. And I mean, if indeed Lork is being tracked, we could go to ground, find out where his destination is. And I mean, even if we do go to the Makoba Hills, we are close enough to the Midwood that we could conceivably retreat there if needs be.
There's some more information that something me and Celeste figured out from looking at the Book of Summoning. I suspect that Lork is not an elf, because the last name that he used lines up pretty neatly with one of the allies of the prince described in this book. There's no further descriptions, but I know fiends to not be incredibly imaginative when it comes to disguises and false names.
Which would mean he might cause you a bit of trouble, Trollado, if we got closer to him.
I'm sure it's nothing we can handle.
I suspect from the writings we see in the other room, his goals are pretty clear.
We need a bit of luck on our side, as of late, but we need somebody, someone who has got a lot of history, knowledge, and who can actually tell us about some of these old daddies and stuff like that, because I don't think books this time is going to get us anywhere.
Honestly, I don't think that there's anyone that we could go to about that. Outside of... Sorry.
What could he possibly want from me?
I hate to impose on you, Celeste, but perhaps Remora seemed very interested in you. And at the expense of being overcomplicating our already complicated lives and varied pantheon, I perhaps would propose you try and contact her. She may be able to provide you with a level of protection that we cannot. Or at least look out for you. If that's not something you want to do, then that is up to you, but she did show an interest.
Yet,
As
this conversation is happening, your sending cube gets warm again.
I Force a habit, I'll start trotting back upstairs to take it.
Okay. So, as you do so, as you sort of pick it out of your pocket, you can hear the voice come through to you. Friend, I have discovered. Me, discovered, but no, never mind. I will give a good account of myself. They will not find the. There is a growling noise, and tearing, ripping, and screaming. Then, a voice. Well, what have we here? An interesting trinket this pitiful creature holds on to. Abrado! Find out what its use is. Oh, and take its hands as well. They're always useful. And then silence.
Okay, I'm going to run back downstairs and straight up to Yorick. Magic Cube, what's the best way to destroy this?
Big hammer.
Big hammer?
Would you mind?
Can you axe this?
You can axe any. Who's
Yeah,
axing?
you can.
Why do you want him to ask it?
Yet is that the same as?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that one too. That one too.
Put it on the ground and I'll smash.
Go for it. Roll. Give me an attack roll. I mean, they're quite small, but you know, DC's not that difficult. They're not armored.
It's like trying to get a pea with a fork. A
I'm
single
not attacking
pea.
max. Just attacking normal. Oh, natural one.
Yeah.
And then attack. 20.
26. So, your first strike, you swing down with the axe, and it hits the cube, and goes ping! It goes, arcs over and into the pool of blood.
Does that
That's
work?
not good.
The second one, ping! And you smash into it. And
You want to go and get that one?
it remains unharmed.
Oh.
I have.
But it's not me. It's definitely something to do with this.
You might need to magically disenchant them.
Celeste, could you do the thing that you did to the trap in the library to this?
I could do one, maybe, but I'm tapped. I have very little magic left.
Can I go over to her and do my last spell string magic?
Sure. Which gives her what?
So I roll 1, 3, 6. I think that's 3.
Yep.
So you can take a one expended spell slot, the level number rolled on the dice, so a level 3 or lower.
Nice.
Maybe now I can destroy both, but it's not a guarantee.
I mean,
Please try. It is. I have answers. I now know who might be responsible for creating those demons with the extra arms we saw, but on the downside, I think my contact has been compromised.
Yeah, I
severely.
think we need to go a bit over what you've been doing yet, because it might be helpful for us all to know.
and this seems like a very silly question, but does your contact know where you are?
No, they didn't ask.
Are you
They'd never ask.
absolutely certain?
I mean,
As certain as one can be.
I mean,
This
the-
this
the
person, an
only-
expert tracker, they may have had a way of knowing where I was without me telling them directly.
I mean, the only reason I ask is because do we try and get rid of these and then get on the boat and leave tonight? Or at
Yes.
least sleep on the boat?
Yes.
Don't worry, Yorick, we will go to the pub first. We will get some beer, we will get some food, and then we will go.
How are you thinking?
okay.
I have a question, DM.
Hmm.
Let Celeste do her thing first
Yeah.
because my it will tie in. But think from what Florian just said about knowing somebody who may have history, knowledge, and stuff like that. Question for you: what did my parents do? Can I remember anything of them of having any abilities or anything? And this is specifically because I was told stories about the boogeyman, the monster, the potential deity, what came after you.
Well, your father, you're not really sure what he did. I mean, when you knew him, he was a simple woodsman. Collected wood, made wood carvings. Well, that's very simple life. It was him that told you the stories. Your mother was a healer. Pretty good one. Herbalist. But no, you didn't see anything particularly obvious as special powers. But they seem to have a lot of knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Celeste, what are you up to?
I will try and dispel the magic on the cubes.
Okay, so dispel magic, yeah? Which is, I mean, they're fairly low level.
I've got a 3rd level spell slot and a 4th level spell slot.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. You can dispel the magic on the cube that's on the floor. The other one is in the pool of blood over there somewhere.
I'm not even caring now, I'll just go and get it.
Okay. Make an investigation check. See if you can find it. I mean, they're very small, these things.
Natural 20.
Yeah. Okay, so you sort of blindly flash about.
26.
26. Okay, so you thrash about in the blood, find it, dispel it, drop it back into the blood. But you are convinced that you have done that, and yeah, there is no trace of magic left on either of them.
It's done.
That is.
But you are now covered in blood.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Question.
Yep.
I've got shape water.
You do.
So could I? The blood's a liquid, so could I use that to pull the blood off her, and sort of just?
You want to play shaped blood? I mean, it's
an
interesting direction.
She's covered in blood, so obviously, and she's a little bit rattled. So I want to try and help and
you could
pull the blood away.
There is water in blood. You could,
and it would,
possibly pull the water out of the blood.
Well, could I try and drag the moisture so it will just flake away?
You could certainly try. Roll me a d20. If you get higher than my roll, we'll say it works.
17.
17. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I rolled a 19.
That sucks.
But yeah, I mean, you try it and it sort of slides a little bit. But yeah, it's still. She's still covered in blood.
I'm gonna go and pick one of the remaining cloaks off one of the cretins, and just sort of start mopping.
Yeah, I mean, easy enough to do. You just sort of smear blood all over her, and try and wipe it off. We get the majority off her face and her hands. She's wearing a lot of red clothing because I believe she's still wearing Melissa's outfit.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of it will blend in. So.
And then with a big smile, I'll just say to her, "Well, did a good job. That's one less problem we've got. Now let's address the rest, and hopefully we can give you some peace."
Okay. So with the cubes destroyed, the conversation about to be had with Miette about what she's been doing and what possible repercussions there may be for that, and the conversations that you're about to have about Lork and who or what he really is, and why is Celeste important, and many other things. That's where we'll leave it for tonight.
On that, enjoyed that.
Good. I enjoyed DMing. That was good fun. Everything just sort of came to all your little threads just went.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt that very much tonight.
And that was interesting. There were some other interesting things mentioned, the Midwoods, and Master Balo was mentioned as well, I believe, at some point.
I was very careful to not mention by name.
I know, I noticed that. I did notice that. So thank you all very much for playing. That was really good fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure most of you did, if not all of you. I think.
I'm having a sinking pit in my stomach, yeah.
So, does anyone have any questions or thoughts or anything they wish to discuss with the group outside above the table? I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll go around the room because I suspect that lots of people have questions. So let's start with Miette, as she had her hand up first.
Yeah, I just want to confirm, have I gotten my contact killed?
Oh, most definitely.
I mean...
Because I wasn't 100% sure of the voice on the cube at first, and then it was like when Rock took over, it's like, shit.
I mean,
So,
you don't know.
Yeah.
It sounded like it.
I mean, there was a lot of violence that sounded like, and screaming. Now, whether...
And squishiness.
They are still alive or not, who knows?
We have their hands. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Yorick, what you got?
Oh, just a random thought that occurred at the time when we were talking about it. Celeste got sent forwards via some portal by some unknown person.
I mean, Celeste.
Was that Balo? Because he likes to toss about.
That did occur to me earlier as well.
As far as she knew, it was an elderly, wizened elf woman.
See, when we were talking about all of that and the whole
Doesn't
when we
ring
were
that bell,
in the room with all the scratchings and madness and that, and talking about how long stuff has been, I seem to remember pretty much Remora saying to Celeste in her death room, "You're late."
Yeah. Well, that's because technically, by her timeline, she should have died a very long time ago.
Yeah.
What's the way I took it?
Yeah.
We've had a lot of evidence.
I've
Celeste
taken that
got thrown
differently now.
Forward in time.
But yeah.
Time shenanigans, Chaz. Why do DMs do it?
I don't know. It's an addiction. We need help.
What? Why are we fans of both fantasy and sci-fi?
Who knows?
You read.
It's a thing. Trelador.
No, I was going to ask the same thing about how Celeste got here. How much detail she actually really does know about it.
I mean...
And also Trelador hasn't got a clue what's going on. Dad obviously knows what's going on.
Obviously, yeah. I can see that. You can tell from your demeanour. Many times before.
I'm good.
Snow?
No questions as such, but Snow's very happy that events have forced us back onto the water again.
Yeah, you've certainly turned that to your advantage, certainly, yes.
Yeah.
I saw that. Let's get back on the boat! As a place of safety, because that's perfectly safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's get... When the boat piloted by the insane god is the best option.
I was going to say, we want to get away from temple, so what are we going to go? We're going on a floating temple.
Yeah.
Fair.
And let's not forget the person who just randomly dropped dead on that ship.
They didn't randomly drop dead. They were murdered.
Yeah,
that makes it okay then.
By the captain of the
Murdered,
ship.
murdered by an unseeable creature.
Cool. Gus?
Yeah.
Got any questions?
No, but I would just like to state for the record, the absolutely fantastic plan conjured up by the two dwarves worked perfectly.
Ish.
No, it worked perfectly, didn't it? We captured
Despite
them.
despite the actual ones.
I think the reason it worked out perfectly is because the dwarves planned it and the guys that we were planning it for were drunk.
Yeah,
Thank God they were drunk.
That's just meaningless, things. It happened, worked perfectly, and we've even got Bridris getting rid of the evidence.
The fact that it was drunk meant that the dwarves were able to prepare for it perfectly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It fell right into our wheelhouse.
As it were.
I mean, it's incredible that we actually managed to home alone somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm totally here for that. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. That was absolutely beautiful. Well done. Florian.
Yeah, a lot of like drops and thoughts going through Florian's head with information coming along, and I don't know why. I really don't. I suppose it's just how the storyline's gone and how Florian's brain has been thinking, but I don't know why I've never asked what my parents have done before. I've been so fixated it's about me and my sister. I haven't even thought about family included, and it wasn't until obviously Lork being known as to be an associate or as such, and everything's just tied up. So that's potentially an avenue where Florian might go down for more knowledge, more to find out what shit is going down, pretty much.
Fair enough. Melissa, what you got?
How many more friends are we going to find in this book of summoning? How many more people that
At
we
least
know?
one more.
Well, tell you what, read the book.
I did that. We've done that twice, and it's led to bad things. So
Okay, don't read the book.
Yeah, and then we could be surprised by the bad things.
I mean, bad in a certain light, but it has given you some answers.
yes,
Reading so important.
it's given us more questions, really. But
It's like Schrodinger's book, isn't it? Don't read the book, read the book.
Yeah, but in fairness, when you get answers to questions, usually the answers will give you other questions to ask based on those questions. So,
Very careful invoking Schrodinger, because that tends to lead to the death of cats.
Yes. And we have a dragon that seems to be partial to eating at least one of them.
if you put a tabaxi in a bag of holding,
Let's try it.
Good luck.
I'm trying to decide which out.
Good luck.
I'm trying to decide which out of the two tabaxi we've got are going to be most compliant, and it's neither.
Nah.
Well, realistically, all you need to do is open the bag up and a cat will climb inside it and curl up.
James makes a good point.
That is a good point.
Yeah. I wonder if I use the pigments to just kind of paint a large circle on the floor.
That's it enough. Yes.
Now the rune symbols make sense.
Quite. So, last but definitely not least in this particular episode, Celeste. Thoughts?
Just wondering why Celeste is important more than anything.
I have a theory that's come out of nowhere.
Okay. Always like a theory.
That Celeste is what Lork needs in order to be able to travel back in time as an anchor point. And that's strengthened by the idea that it was Baylor who opened the portal, because he was like, well, this will fuck with everybody's plans.
I mean,
Okay.
as theories
Because he's
go,
going quietly insane because the thing he needs keeps eluding him.
Chaz, I was trying to analyse your face there, and it either told me that, damn, you've got it, or damn, that's a good idea.
It's a
the
DM
answer,
thing. You know this.
Oh, yeah.
and the answer in both cases was yes.
Possibly. You never know.
I do think an appropriate punishment for Lorx when we do eventually kill him would be to chop his hands off.
I mean,
Though I
that's
am
an option.
worried that he would be into it.
I was going to suggest we abandon him in the far future, where there's no magic and no gods.
That would be fun.
But to be fair, we just remove his limbs, cauterize the stumps, and just leave him in the middle of the forest.
We've done that with tieflings before, and it didn't go well.
No, this is very true.
That's a fair point, yeah. They caused more hassle than they were worth.
Indeed, they did. So, with that, if there's no other questions, Looking at you, Fiddy.
Do we level up
No.
this week? No, I knew it was. That's why I didn't ask. That's why I didn't ask.
Let me just double check with Terry. Terry, do you have any questions? No, she's playing Dragonflight. Not a chance we'll get a question out of Terry.
Too busy dragons.
But we have dragons.
We do.
We have one dragon
At least one dragon.
Very excitable dragon.
who wants the fuzzy appetizers.
So, with that being said, we will end the stream here. Thank you very much for playing. You're all wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched, if you enjoyed, that's brilliant. We love that. That's fantastic. If you didn't watch, then why am I even talking to you? If you didn't like it, well, you don't have to watch. Fuck off. So, have a wonderful week. We will be back here again on Sunday with the investigators. Now that's hotting up as well. Lots of time shenanigans going on over there. I suggest you catch it. It's going to be really good. That will be episode 17. Wow, we're getting close. We're about 40 episodes apart, roughly. So yeah, we'll be back here on Sunday for that. We will also be back here, of course, next Tuesday for the next episode of this, which means I'm going to have to get off my arse and do some writing. So, without further ado, we bid you all good night. Have a wonderful time, and remember, we'll be here. Will you?